All right, welcome back. NFL show on Chuck's Chat YouTube. No Jeff again this week, but I am joined as always here by Noah and Teddy. Before I get to records, we all agree that the most notable result in the NFC this week was Washington losing 43-18 or whatever that score was. I don't think there's anything else noteworthy. Am I missing anything? It was just that, right? Just Washington losing to Buffalo.
I think so.
Okay, that's what I thought too. All right, so for the picks, we'll start. So Noah last week 3-4, 10-11, 48%, 1-3 on locks. Teddy 4-6, 16-14 overall, 53%, 1-2 on locks. Jeff 6-5, 21-23, 48%, 0-3 on locks. Me 4-3, 13-9, 59%. And 2-1 on locks. No, when you're editing this, I hope that you can write down fast enough because I gotta flip through that. Okay, so starting with Jeff. If Jeff was here, I'd ask him if this is the week he wins a lock, but I'll have to ask him off air. So going back to last week, I wanted to start with you, Teddy, on this. Every week we usually do best performance, worst performance, and then performance of the week. But I actually want to start with you on the 3-0 and 2-1 teams. So I wrote down the 3-0 teams: Denver, Arizona, LA Rams, Vegas Raiders, and the Carolina Panthers. Who, in your mind, as we're almost at the quarter pole, is a contender or a pretender, either with the 3-0 teams or the 2-1 teams?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the real deal just for like this week. Personally, I'm gonna say the Panthers. They're winning ball games. Obviously, McCaffrey's hurt, but they're playing low scoring ball games. I think they have 30 points against. So I mean, their defense is doing something right. I mean, could be coincidence or not, but 30 points in 3 weeks isn't too bad, I'd say. And I was just kind of looking at their schedule coming up. I mean, they got the Cowboys, which is going to be a little bit tough. But after that, they got the Eagles, the Vikings. I think they're a little bit fraudulent. And they got the Giants, Falcons, and Pats. I think those are all winnable games until they get to the Cardinals. So, getting to mid-November, they could have a solid record going in, getting to that late part of the playoffs. I mean, they're playing the NFC East too. So, I mean, all hats to them. I think they're going to be able to get like a wild card spot out of that. And, right now, I mean, they're going to be a fraudulent playoff team. But right now, I mean, I'm going to roll with them as a real contender. The fake contender, I'm going to say the Cardinals. I don't like it. I don't know. I mean, they're putting up a lot of points. They're winning those deep ball games. But at some point, I think they're going to face some adversity. And I don't know how that team's going to handle it. So I'd probably go with the Cardinals, especially with that division, coming up. I just can't see them doing too much. And they're going to come back down to reality.
Yeah, it is. I definitely agree with that was very interesting. Carolina, their schedule coming up. I guess you don't realize the year later when you have a fourth place team with the fourth place schedule. So it's probably really interesting looking at the 49ers and seeing what their schedule looks like from a year ago. And so yeah, and then Arizona. I mean, the thing I think is weird with them is that we don't Cincinnati's 2-1. Right? Yeah. Cincinnati beat Minnesota. And then, wait, did Cincinnati play Arizona? No, I have that wrong. Never mind. I was thinking of something else. Arizona beat the Titans, and then the Jags and the Vikings. I was thinking because the Vikings play the Bengals. Noah, what do you have for this one?
It's funny. Almost the complete opposite. Obviously, I think the big pretenders that everybody's going to point to is the Broncos. They're 3-0, and they played the Jets, Jags, and what's the other team? All three teams they played
and the Giants. They play the Giants week 1.
Their wins are against teams that have a combined 0-9 record. But my true pretenders are the Panthers. I know they have an easy schedule. I know they're probably going to finish with a record around 500 or probably a little bit better. But I don't really think they're that good. I do not think they're the real deal. They played the Falcons and the Texans, if I'm correct. Those are two teams that are awful. Let me check that real quick. They played the Texans and Jets. Sorry, Texans and Jets. Of course, the other one coming against the Saints. I don't really trust the Saints a whole lot either. I think they can be an okay team. But I don't believe in Sam Darnold. I need to see more than a 3-game sample of playing against the Texans, Jets, and Saints to really think that, he's going to have his team in serious consideration to make a deep playoff run. I know their defense is good, but this could be a big litmus test this week, especially without Christian McCaffrey. And they're playing the Cowboys. Cowboys, while they're not my real deal team, I think they are a lot better than what I was giving them credit for in the preseason and earlier on this year. They looked really good against the Eagles on Monday. My contender team, I do like the Cardinals, but I'm not going to go with them. I do like them, but my true contender team, and this might be a little bit of an obvious pick, is the Los Angeles Rams. That team with Matt Stafford looks deadly. They handled business against the Buccaneers, the Super Bowl reigning champions, and they look like they won that game pretty easily. I know it was Sean McVay's Super Bowl. He was pretty pumped up. But man, that Matt Stafford is exactly what that offense has been missing for years. And I think they're really, really good. Their defense is lights out as always. They're going to be a very dangerous team this year.
I did hear in Detroit, if the Rams win the Super Bowl, it's a Super Bowl for the city of Detroit as well. Just Stafford fans. I've heard that sources here in the city are excited for the Rams to be good.
Awesome. I'm glad that they still love the guy.
He's their
awesome.
baby, man. He's their baby.
That's sweet. I'm glad you brought that up now. I was going to save that for when we preview the Rams Cardinals game later. Sean McVay, having been to a Super Bowl, and we talked about this off the air, having been to a Super Bowl, he cannot be so rah-rah at halftime of the third regular season game. I don't care what you're buying. Like, I just something for me seeing that happen, him running down the sidelines to go see Deshaun Jackson after a touchdown. Like that game meant way too much to him to be able to beat Tom Brady.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get more into it. I have a lot of thoughts on this game coming up, but I agree. I did, it was great to see the energy, but at the same time, it's week 3. It's week 3.
My pretender, and you touched on this, Denver. I really do like Denver. And you'll hear this as a descriptor for like an Aaron Kraft back at Ohio State when he was the point guard there. Like you just plays the game the right way. Like they play good defense and they don't turn it over, but they're not really gonna, do anything too crazy. And at some point they'll just play teams that have more talent or better coaching that's just going to beat them, but they're good for what they are, which is kind of a microcosm for like Teddy Bridgewater, like his entire career is basically what the Denver Broncos are. But I do really enjoy watching them play. I think that they're interesting. And then I actually really believe in Arizona. I think Arizona can be a legit team. And I think this week we'll see, I think they can finish first or second in the NFC West. They have the offense. Defense looks like it's coming along. The week 1 win over the Titans, I think, will just look better as the season goes on, what they did to them. And then just taking care of business the other 2 weeks. I keep fucking up who they played. Who did they play week 2? I keep messing this up.
The Cardinals, they play the Chiefs.
They played the Vikings.
The Vikings. And I think the Vikings are better than they maybe could have lost that game, but they had mounted the comeback in that whole thing. It was a character win. I do have to be sold on Cliff Kingsbury still. But I do like Arizona.
I think that's the one shortcoming. I mean, the Cardinals were right up there with the Rams, with my true contenders. But I agree with pretty much everything you said there. Cliff Kingsbury is the one thing kind of holding me back from kind of jumping headfirst into the Cardinals. And then, like you said with the Broncos, that defense is legit. That's going to be maybe the best defense in the league this year by the end of the season. I just think their offense is pedestrian at best. Teddy Bridgewater, he will score. You'll put up points. You're not going to have a bad offense, but it's not like he's going to be throwing the ball down the field. It's not like they have a superstar running back. They have a good backfield by committee. They have some okay weapons, at wide receiver, but they don't really have a true stud to lean on at any position on that offense. And I think especially in that division with the Raiders looking a lot better than they have the last few years, the Chiefs, who are somehow in last place, and my San Diego Superchargers. It's a gauntlet of a division. I think it's going to be hard for them to keep pace at 3-0.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. That's basically why that the 3-0, like they'll probably come in last, if I had to guess.
Yeah,
but to no fault of their own, like their division's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so all right, performance of the week for me, Justin Tucker. I thought that, and I don't know if I was just overreacting because of like the moment and watching it. Like I think it's one of the greatest single like play accomplishments in sports like that of my lifetime so far, because you get 66-yard NFL record at the buzzer. It's not you miss and it's a tie. You miss and you lose. Like that was just insane to watch that happen. I really got caught up in that moment. That was so cool to see. So love that kick from Justin Tucker. Best performance, the LA Rams. We just touched on that. And worst performance, the Pittsburgh Steelers. That was kind of depressing to watch Big Ben drop back 58 times. And it's weird. Like we've now seen them lose to the Browns in the playoffs and to the Cincinnati Bengals. It just doesn't feel right, but it feels like it's the end for the Steelers.
He looked terrible. He looked awful. Like he looked, he was supposedly lost weight this offseason, but he looks like he's running concrete in his shoes. Like his feet aren't moving any faster.
If you remember last year, week 1, the Jaguars beat the Colts. It was their only win of the season. The Steelers beating the Bills might be, when we look back in December, we'll be like, how the hell did that happen? And they won by like 30. They won by 7. They were up 13 at one point. I think it was something
I
like
remember
that.
how the defensive touchdown happened, and it was just like, how did they just go up 7 all of a sudden, down 7, a few minutes ago? So yeah, I mean, it's one of those fluke games against week 1. It was preseason, so again,
true, yeah, that's exactly right. And Teddy, who do you have for those 3 categories?
Yeah, I would agree with you on Justin Tucker. I think that's just an insane task, and to be able to just drill it. I mean, he's electric from 50 yards out, anyways. Again, a little joke. Tom Dempsey hit his guy with a half foot, hit it against the Detroit Lions. So it's just a Lions thing to happen for records to happen against them. I mean, the good joke is like at least Justin Tucker has a full foot. So
there you go.
I'm gonna go with him. I mean, he's just like the GOAT in his category. Always looking forward to see if he can break it. The best, I'm gonna go with the Rams as well. I mean, take care of business against Super Bowl defending champs. There's a lot to come from that, and they're going to keep rolling with Stafford. And the worst, I'm going to go with the Birds, getting dog walked by a divisional opponent, Dallas. Just wasn't good. Nothing turning. Like the offense was gross. At least run the ball. Run sets up the pass. Didn't even do anything. Just seemed like they were all over the place. Obviously we got battling a little bit of injuries, but I don't feel good, like a good direction for the Eagles to have to get right game. They got the Chiefs next week who are pissed off. So, I mean, it's not going to look good for our Birds.
No. And their schedule's tough. Like some of the other day, it was like we might get like 1-6 Eagles versus 0-7 Lions in Detroit. So that would be an awesome game to go to.
Yeah, it would.
And then Noah, what do you got?
Yeah, so for player of the week, I love I love the Justin Tucker pick. I didn't even think of that one. But I love that pick. Josh Allen.
Kickers are people too.
Kickers are people too. Josh Allen finally woke up. He had a spectacular week, but I'm going to go with Myles Garrett. This could be the awakening of Myles Garrett. He's been in the league for a few years now, and he's always been good. He's always been good, but he hasn't really performed stat wise to the level of a number 1 overall generational talent type of pick. But with 4.5 sacks, I know it was against the Bears, but 4.5 sacks, it's nothing to scoff at, even against an opponent like that. This could be the first of many games that just hammer in him becoming the defensive player of the year this year. I know Aaron Donald's still around, but man, if Myles Garrett gets around that 20 sacks this year, it's going to go to him. And I think this could be the first game of many to come where he just becomes the most dominating defensive player in the league. Aaron Donald handing that title down to him. It could be the first of a insane run that we see from him. My performance of the week, team wise. Oh shoot, who was it? I had it. Oh, that's right. My San Diego Superchargers. They took care of business. They went into Arrowhead Stadium, right? It was in Arrowhead.
That's correct.
Which is not an easy atmosphere to play in.
Correct.
And they didn't just compete with Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in the game, the guy who went to back-to-back Super Bowls, the guy who won MVP his first year as a starter, but they beat them. They're 2-1. It's going to be a very good season for them. Everybody knows I love the Chargers. It was just a great win all around, even with the refs trying to hold them back at the same time.
Brandon, we talked about it.
No, you go.
Yeah, we talked about earlier in the year how, last year they were in these close games and there was a young team and Justin Herbert just didn't know how to win. There's one possession late games. And now you can see him progressing and actually winning these games. So it's exciting to, be a Superchargers fan, Noah. So I'm happy for you. So far, I know it's early, but I like the direction they're going.
I love it.
Plus 3,300, right? Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's gonna be a nice payout when it comes. But my worst performance of the week, and I'll try to say something nice about them if I can, but it's the New York Jets. I know this is probably an easy one to pick every single week, but it's really sad when your quarterback plays better and gets shut out than the week before, because he only threw 2 picks this week as opposed to 4 in the week prior, but they got shut out. Their season's done. I think it was done before it really even started. I never thought Zach Wilson was going to be good. It doesn't look like he will be good. He could turn it around in years to come, but I don't think he's going to be the star they thought he was, drafting him at number 2. He doesn't look like he's ready for NFL competition.
I still believe in Zach Wilson. I think it's just really hard to be like we've seen, like we had Herbert last year, and then the year before that, Kyler Murray. And the year before that, like with Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, whoever like broke out from all these classes like early. I think it's just we're seeing one. It's just really tough to be a rookie quarterback in the NFL is one, but also being a rookie quarterback in the NFL when you have to play behind A, the Jets offensive line, B, for Urban Meyer, C, for Matt Nagy, makes it much harder than if you're normally a rookie in the NFL. I really like all 3 of those guys, and I think they'll all be solid pros. But again, we'll see. That's why they play the games. Going into did you say all yours? Yeah, the Jets. Yeah, the Jets were yours. All right, going into this week, I want to start here. Carolina Panthers at the Dallas Cowboys have. The Cowboys are favored by 5. The over/under is 50.5. No, if you want to take this.
Yeah, I like the Cowboys in this. As I mentioned earlier, my Panthers are the pretenders. I know their schedule is favorable for most of the year, but this is their first test, really. I know they beat the Saints, but as I said last week, Jameis is just a goofy dude. You can count on him just to have those weird games where he just makes bad decisions. Even his touchdown the last week to Marquez Callaway was just bizarre. I don't know how he pulled that off, but he did. The Cowboys are a legit team. They are physical, they're big, they're mean, and they have swagger. Up and down their offense, up and down their defense. Micah Parsons, Leighton Vander Esch, Trayvon Diggs is a baller.
He's
CeeDee
awesome.
Lamb,
He's so
Amari
good.
Cooper, Tony Pollard's our RB2, and he might be better than Zeke. At this point in their career, he might be. They have playmakers all up and down the board. It's not like the Cowboys of the past where they're just stacked at a couple positions and then their defense just tremendously suffers. They competed with the Buccaneers. They beat the Chargers, who just beat the Chiefs, and they absolutely embarrassed the Eagles on national television. I'm taking the Cowboys. What was it? -4.5, 5.5.
Yeah, so I wrote these down, I guess, last night. I just have -5 here, but if you have 4.5 or whatever, if your card says 4.5, like I just put in whatever it gets sent. So like whatever you found it at and put it down.
Yeah, and as far as the over/under, it's tough. I would say the under. I really don't think the Panthers offense is all that. I think DJ Moore and Sam Darnold are going to connect a few times, maybe get a touchdown or two. Chuba Hubbard is not a terrible replacement for Christian McCaffrey, but they do have a solid defense. I could see it being very similar to that Chargers game the Cowboys had last week, where it's just weirdly low scoring. So I like the under in that one.
Teddy, what do you think?
I'm gonna have to ride with the Carolina Panthers at +5. I mean, 5 is a good number. I think at least if it comes down to field goal or they're down 4 going for that touchdown. I feel like they're gonna play in a close game. I do think Dallas is gonna win it, but it might just be like a fluke game. Dallas is playing at 1:00. They're not really used to it, so no, not a primetime game. No one's gonna be eyes on them, so might just be like a coasting as they play the Giants next week too. They might just kind of cool off a little bit after a big emotional win, I guess you could say, against the Birds. The over/under, I do like the under as well. I just Carolina has a good defense, not letting up too many points, so I think it stays under and Carolina keeps it a little bit close.
Yeah, this is a game we're gonna learn a lot about. This is for Carolina. This is their measuring stick. If they come out, one, if they win the game, this team's legit. 2, if they're keeping it close and they're in it, the NFC South is going to be pretty competitive this year, which will be, pretty fun to see. I agree with Teddy. I think Carolina keeps it in the number. I don't know if they win the game. The 2 big things, one, the defense is legit. And then the second thing is I think Matt Rule will just coach circles around Mike McCarthy. And when you can overcome a 3 turnover deficit like Bruce Arians did in the first game because he's just a much better coach than Mike McCarthy. Who knows if Nick Sirianni's a good coach? It's not looking great so far, but Mike McCarthy could not have managed that end of clock in the first half worse and gotten away with it and win by 20, whatever. I think it was 41-21. So I do like Carolina to keep it in the number. Next game, Cleveland Browns at the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are a 2-point home dog. They were home dogs last week as well against Seattle. The over/under is 51.5. Teddy, what do you think about this interconference matchup here?
Yeah, I really like the Browns. I think they're a very solid team, especially in the AFC. I think they're going to do some damage. They Baker's doing well. Myles Garrett, like Noah alluded to earlier, I think he's definitely got that or defensive player of the year in grasp. I think we're all just getting settled on Aaron Donald, like getting to that GOAT status where no one wants to see him win every year. So Myles Garrett's turn to take that throne. The Vikings, I feel like kind of are all over the place and they're in games, but I don't know their identity yet. And I just can't trust them. So I'm going to go with the Browns with -2. I think they take care of business. So I'm okay with even adjusting that line if I needed to. And then I'll go with the under in this game. I'm not really sure why. I just feel like 51.5 is a little high. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't really have too much analysis in the over under.
No.
I like the Browns as well. They're just a really good team. It's crazy to say, but they're just a really good team. As long as Baker Mayfield doesn't turn the ball over, which the last year and a half, 2 years, he's really proven that, he's a very capable quarterback. He's going to protect the ball. And they're going to run like crazy. Vikings defense isn't great. And the Browns like to score a lot of points. They scored, I think it was 26 last week. I just looked at it, 33 week 2 and 29 week 1, something like that. So I think the over will hit. Teddy, I do think there is something to say, about the under. Sometimes those divisional matchups can get ugly.
Not a divisional matchup.
If you want it to be, you can.
Yeah,
you're right. You're right. No, I don't.
Everyone's reconferencing.
It's AFC versus NFC. No,
yeah. This is Super Bowl. You meant to say Super Bowl preview.
Yes. They're both northern teams. Okay, there you go. Sorry. So in that case, I like the over. Both these teams like to score a lot of points. The Vikings. The Vikings and Cardinals overs, I really like pretty much all year. So the Vikings and Cardinals game from a couple of weeks ago, that one was a no-brainer.
That was special, yeah.
Vikings are going to score points every single game, and they're going to let up a lot of points every single game. I do like the over. I think the Browns pull this out. I'll take a -2.
I don't have an opinion on the side yet because I think the Vikings are better than what they are at 1 and 2, and I could see them winning this game. I think the Browns are a better team. I might stay away. We'll see where the sharp money's going. I might bet that around kickoff, but I do like the over as well. Cleveland is 9th in points per game at 28, and Minnesota is 8th at 29. It is interesting that you brought this up, Teddy, their identity thing, because I also was like wrestling with this last night. I don't know what their identity is either. Like Cleveland's we're gonna run the ball and we're gonna bully you with our offensive line, and they can also like adjust and they get the play action going and all that and put up points. The Vikings have Dalvin Cook, but they also like to like spread you out and go no huddle. So it is interesting. Like I can't ever get a good read on them, but they do put up points. So I will ride the over on that one. That should be a really fun game. The next game here, NFC West. Possibly the game of the week, I might say. The Rams are a 4.5-point favorite at home against the Arizona Cardinals, and the over/under is 54.5. Teddy, you can start with this one.
All right. I mean, obviously, very emotional win for the Rams last week. I think they continue the success. I still, I don't really believe in the Cardinals. I mentioned that earlier as a 3-0 team. This divisional matchup again is just going to be. I mean, I'm excited for this game. I'm very excited to see kind of what goes on. I'm not really too happy about the spread. I don't really know what to think. So I mean, I'm definitely loving the under though. I think it's going to be a defensive matchup. Even though these are high caliber offenses, I think it's one of those like big games, big teams. Like the defense is going to win you the game. So I think whoever has that and stay away from turnovers. I think that's going to happen. I think the Rams are going to do that. I think Jalen Ramsey is going to come up and Aaron Donald is just going to wreak havoc on Kyler Murray. So I'm bleeding towards the Rams. I'm not sure if they're going to take it, but I do like the under.
Then no.
I think the Rams are going to win this game, but I think the Cardinals are going to cover. I got my games mixed up. This one is a divisional game. I love the over just because these offenses are just terrific. But Teddy, there is something to be said about these divisional games where it can just get a little ugly. And it could just end up really low scoring and just be a really grit and grind, punch it out kind of game. But I love the Cardinals overs this year. And I'm not going to stay away. So I'm going to go with the over on that one. And the Rams offense is just awesome too. I think it could just be a crazy shootout. This is my favorite game on the slate this week. I will be following this one closely. Or second favorite. We'll get to the, oh no, we don't have it on here. Maybe we'll throw it on at the end. My favorite game of the week.
Okay, yeah, we can definitely do that. I like the Cardinals a lot. I think the Cardinals could win this game. It's very difficult. I think Sean McVay put so much energy into that last game. Like he probably motivated his team a little differently. Like you're playing the Super Bowl champions in your house, all that. even though it's a divisional game, I think they come down a little bit enough to, because now the Cardinals are coming off Jacksonville. That was a prime look ahead spot. They won by like, was it like 31-19, something like that was the final score. So this is huge for the Cardinals. Can get first place. I love the Cardinals in this spot. The Rams couldn't have played better last week. They're a prime pullback in this week for me.
And like you said, just Sean McVay had so much energy last week. Like that's the definition of one of those just insanely emotional wins that, you know, you're just in a spot to just kind of have a bit of a letdown, at least for the start of the game. I think Sean McVay and the Rams are just a great team that they can get it together by the second half and pull out a win. It might be like a come from behind win, but this has something written all over it where the Cardinals come out hot, put up points early, and the Rams are in a tough spot for the second half. They got to climb their way back. Like I said, I think the Rams win, but it might be like a game-winning field goal, something like that. So I see the Cardinals covering this.
It might honestly come down to who's a better looking coach.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, and no one thinks about that, but you know, whoever you think looks better, I guess you got to take them, right?
Yeah, this is the only thing that can equate to Jay Wright versus Billy Lang in terms of looks on the sideline. It's the only thing that comes close in sports.
Exactly.
The next game, another NFC West game. Seattle going to San Francisco. Seattle's 1-2 on the season now. They got the win over a Colts team that we thought might be good, but they're now 0-3. And then the 49ers coming off a tough their last 30 seconds loss on Sunday Night Football against Green Bay in their first home game in Santa Clara since I think it was November or something, because they had to go to Arizona last year.
I forgot about that.
I did too. And then when they said it on Sunday Night Football, I was like, oh shit, I totally forgot. Because I remember they played the football team at home in the Cardinals stadium in December. 49ers are -2.5. The over-under is 52, Noah.
I hate this game. I think it's just going to be an ugly game to watch. Obviously it's got a lot of playoff meaning behind it, even though it's early in the season. The Seahawks are 1-2. The Niners are 2-2, or sorry, 2-1. But three of these teams could make the playoffs. So every win, especially in the division, counts a lot. And I still think the Niners are the odd man out in this one, even though I think they can be a very solid team this year. But I'm not sure what to make of the Seahawks yet this year either. They had a weird down year 3-4 years ago at this point, where they just, weren't that great and missed out on the playoffs. Could be another year like that for them. It's hard to count against Russell Wilson, especially with DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Chris Carson at his side, but that defense is really suspect. That being said, another divisional game. These two are very heated rivals. I really think this is going to be an ugly game. I like the under in this spot. I still don't know what to make of the Niners offense yet either. They look better against Green Bay, but I don't really think Green Bay has that kind of a defense. And that Eagles game in week 2 just kind of throws me off because their defense looks spectacular, but is the Eagles offense any good? And also, their offense looked terrible against the Eagles, but it's looked really good against the Lions, and it's looked really good against the Packers. Like I said, I think it's going to be an ugly divisional battle. I think the Seahawks win. They're going to be desperate for a win. So I'd take Seahawks spread, and I'd take the under here.
Yeah, the reasoning of why you like the Seahawks, I share the same feeling on it. More desperate team in this spot. I guess a couple extra hours to prepare. That doesn't really matter that much, but I do. I like the Seahawks in this spot, and I like the over. They're different than, I feel like the Seahawks and Rams play these really physical games. I just thinking about the playoff game last year, and then they had a game late in the season where there's not a lot of scoring. The 49ers and Seahawks, I have no stats to back this up, but I feel like they play more of a faster pace, up tempo type game. You have Russell Wilson versus Kyle Shanahan. I do like the over 52 here. I think it could be similar to Green Bay, and San Francisco from this past Sunday night. Teddy, what do you think?
Yeah, you just changed my mind on the over under. I was completely sold on, just like them going at it and having a nice divisional matchup where it's so far under. It's like a 17-13 game. But yeah, I mean, I think they're gonna put up some points. I would probably lean towards the Niners. Obviously, that was a tough loss on Sunday night, but the Packers did make me a lot of money, so thank you, Rogers, and appreciate it. But yeah, I'm just gonna lean towards the Niners. I still feel like it's a toss up, and it's gonna be a 1-score game. And I think they just kind of pull it out. I mean, they're at home, so I think that's helps a little bit, especially playing the Seahawks. That home field advantage, they don't have that. So I'm gonna go with the Niners -2.5.
I don't necessarily think it's going to be low scoring. I just 52 seems high. I mean, like the Seahawks, their offense got shut down a little bit against a Vikings defense that isn't spectacular, and the Niners have a pretty solid defense, and I don't trust the Niners offense either. I don't know. It could be like a 2024 kind of game. Not low scoring by any means, but I just think 52 is a little high. That's all.
Yeah. Next game, probably going to be a little different than what we get with Seattle and San Francisco. We have Baltimore going to Denver, 3-0 Denver versus 2-1 Baltimore. The Broncos are a 1-point favorite. Over under is 44. Teddy, what do you got for me on this one?
Is Lamar Jackson played? I know he's like questionable, but I think he's playing.
Yeah,
correct?
I believe he's fine.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I mean, obviously they had a big win against Detroit with Justin Tucker. I still think they're a very good team. They may not look like they're that solid good team like the Browns, but I think they just win ball games somehow in some way, and I think that's what's gonna happen. Denver's a little bit fraudulent, like kind of mentioned as a pretender. So I'm gonna lean towards Baltimore. I'll take it at -1 right now. And then as far as the over under, I have no clue what could happen, but I will like to throw in a little saucy pick. I think this will be the first scoregami of the year.
Oh, I like that.
I like that.
Yeah. So that's my over under, whatever. Just
okay. I like that. I like Baltimore as well. Just gonna take the better team in a huge game here. Denver's not going to go 17-0, so they'll lose this one. True. The over under, I love the under in this game a lot. I really like I really love the under in this game. The Denver will win, lose based on its defense. It's probably going to be close, and the Ravens, I think their offense just looked really good because Kansas City's defense is bad. I don't think they're whatever they put up 38 or something. They're not doing that again this year unless they play the Jets, which I don't think they do. But that's so many points. It'll be like it would be like a 17-16, like something really dumb like that, where that'll be is what I'm thinking.
Like a 15-6 game.
That's what we're looking at. No turnovers, a lot of running. I think it's going under. No, what do you think?
I like the Ravens too. I mean, it's hard to pick against them, considering I have the fraud stamp on the Broncos. It's not to say I think the Broncos are a bad team, but the Ravens are definitely the best team by far that they have played yet. Even though they've taken a bit of a step back than they were the last couple of years, it's going to be a bit of an awakening for Denver. The Ravens are going to run all over them, and Marquise Brown isn't going to drop 3 touchdowns every week either. So it's by far the best offense they've played. It's by far the best defense they've played. So I got Ravens here. As far as the over/under, I guess I'd go with the under here too. I don't think it's going to be as ugly as you're expecting, Chuck, but I could see the Broncos scoring maybe 1 touchdown and a couple field goals, like 10, 13 points. But I could see the Ravens putting up 20, 23, maybe in that 25 to 27 range. I don't know, but I like the under in this spot as well.
I apologize to the viewers. I am safe in Detroit. If you hear the alarms, I am safe.
We did not hear the alarms, but I'm glad you're safe. They're going off. Shit. Yeah. Okay. Sunday Night Football, Tampa Bay going to New England. This game will probably not be that great, but I wanted to put it on here because stuff like this is very interesting to me. With Tom Brady going back, the tickets are insane. Watching Sunday NFL Countdown last week, Sal Palantonio was doing a thing where he was like moving down the rows, like from like the top of the first section all the way down to the first row behind the Patriots bench, and he was saying one ticket right behind the Patriots bench, first row off, is $6,900, which is absurd. That's so crazy. So I'm really excited to watch this just for all the energy and stuff like that, and seeing the way that they treat Brady, which I'm sure will be one of the great ovations that we'll ever see. I do think it's also interesting if you're a rookie or second year player on the Patriots, you're playing a home game when you have zero connection to this guy, and the crowd's going to be so weird. Like, I feel like that'll be such a weird thing going on. I love the Bucs though. It just feels like they're going to kill them. I was kind of bullish on the Patriots. I thought they could be competitive, pretty frisky. Defense looks solid. Mac Jones not turning the ball over, but he literally, like, the offense just can't do anything. He's just is what he is right now as a quarterback. What you see is what you get. And then Tampa Bay bouncing back. Tom Brady's going to want to put up 400 yards and 5 touchdowns on this team. Are you kidding me? They're gonna kill him. No, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this is a game where the pre and post game ceremonies are going to be more interesting than the game themselves. I 100% agree with that. I'm excited to see it. You don't get moments like this in sports very often. Michael Jordan going back to the Bulls when he was on the Wizards. I mean, it only happens once in a generation, stuff like this.
The only one I could really think of was Peyton going back to Indy.
Yeah. I mean, the game itself, I agree. Tom Brady's going to want to put up numbies against the Patriots. But I think you're selling the Patriots offense a little too short, not because it's good, but because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers passing defense is secretly not very good. Obviously, they got torched against the Cowboys a little bit, with the passing offense. Stacked through like 50 some passes his first game back from injury. The Rams kind of buttered them up pretty well last week as well. We might be a little bit down on the Patriots after their performance last week, but I think the New Orleans secondary is a lot better than the Buccaneers secondary right now. I know they just signed Richard Sherman, but I could see him putting up points. So I do like the over a lot in this game. It's only 49.
49,
yeah. So I like the over a lot. I could see the Buccaneers covering that almost by themselves, well into the 30s, maybe even touch 40s. And then I could see the Patriots putting up 20, 24, 28, something like that. So I think it's going to be a high scoring game, which is awesome. And Brady's return, like I said, the pre and post game ceremonies are probably going to be better because I don't think the game's going to be particularly close. But if you like watching offense, if you got a lot of players on these teams in fantasy football, it's probably going to be a game that's exciting to watch as well.
So Teddy, 1, your thoughts on this game, then 2, you can go into your card dogs, your dog of the week, rest of your card except for your lock.
Could I throw an extra game on after?
Yeah. Let's do that. So just do this game.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be exciting. The promo was sick. At first, I was like, "What's going on?" But like, maybe stop and be like, "What's going on?" So I really like it. I'm excited for it. But I think we're in for a doozy in a prime time Sunday night game. I mean, we've had a lot of good games, so I just think the Bucs roll. I think it gets ugly. They're going to be up like 17-21, 3 at half. There's not going to be much to do after. I'll probably go to bed a little early. It's just like Belichick tries to take away your best player. Buccaneers have so many good players in offense. If you take away Gronk, you got the receivers. The run game's still sound. So I'm just going to lean towards the Bucs, and the total, I just have no idea. So I'm staying away from it. So are we at another game?
Yeah, so my favorite game of the slate is Monday night. It's my San
Oh.
Diego Superchargers, and they'll always be my San Diego Superchargers. -3 at home against the Las Vegas Raiders. The over-under is 52.5 according to ESPN. Obviously, I love the Chargers in this spot. I think the Raiders are good, but I think the Chargers are better. Their offense finally woke up last week, and that was just terrific to see. Yes, the Chiefs defense isn't great, but I think the Raiders they're not going to go 17-0. I know it's one of your favorite catchphrases there, Chuck, but they're not going to go 17-0. They're bound to lose a game at some point. It's at home. It's in LA. Chargers fans have actually been shown out this year too. And I'm playing you this week in fantasy football. I have Justin Herbert, Austin
Good
Eckler,
luck.
and Darren Waller all going Monday night. I'm just gonna have a blast watching this game.
I'm gonna have a terrible time watching.
I also like the over. I also like the over a lot too. The Raiders offense is pretty good, and obviously the Chargers is too.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably lean towards the Chargers on this one. I can't see the Raiders being 4-0. I mean, when's the last time that possibly happened? Yeah, I just can't read them as far as being on the road too. I mean, it's divisional game, right? I know it's not interconference. No, okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it comes down to like a 1 point, like a weird situation. Chargers always play those tough games. I mean, it's going to be one of those things. But yeah, I think they pull it out. And the over under, I'm gonna probably go with the over. I don't even know what it is. I think what did you say, 52.5?
According to
Okay. Yeah, let's ride the over. I wasn't too prepared for this game, but I will we'll go Chargers in the over as well. That could change.
Yeah, as of right now, I like the Chargers. I mean, this game isn't for another 5 days now. So I have to see what happens, but I'm not entirely sold on the Raiders offense yet. I really like their defensive line. I don't know about John Gruden as a head coach in the year 2021. Just watching their offense, it looks old. Like, I don't know if that like translates through it just looks like an old, I don't know, it's not
old school.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just don't think that's gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Raiders are good and the Raiders are fun. I like when the Raiders are good. I just don't. I think this is their biggest test so far.
Count the Steelers.
Right? Yeah. They played the Steelers. The Ravens was a good win, and then the Dolphins against Jacoby Brissett. They could have lost that game. The way that they've won their games, they're due for a loss.
Yeah.
And I think it's this week. It's kind of what I think of the Chargers. And I like the Chargers on top of that. Brandon Staley's awesome. He has gigantic balls after last week, so huge fan of him. Noah, do you want to lead us off with your card here?
Yeah,
and your dog of the week. Yeah, your card dog of the week, save your lock.
Yeah, so I'll start just with my whole card here. Yeah, so why don't we go? We'll start with the Washington football team at the Falcons. It's only -1.5. I think the Falcons are really bad. Like really bad. They lost, or they barely beat the Giants. And I think the football team has had a slow start, especially defensively. But I think they're significantly better than the Giants. I know they had that close game. What was it, week 2 on Thursday night? I think eventually their defense is going to get it together. And the Falcons, whose strength was supposed to be offense, their offense looks really bad, like really bad. So I think this is a get right game for the Washington football defense. In a line like 1.5, it's almost a pick 'em. I'll take him there. I'm also going to take the under in that game as well. Like I said, the Falcons offense is really bad. I don't really believe in the football team offense either. The line's at 48.5. I'll take the under in that. As I said earlier, I like Cardinals Rams over 54.5. I'm going to stay away from the line and just root for points. I do like the Seahawks. I got them at +3 here at San Fran. I think the they're probably going to win that game outright, but I'm going to take the points. I like the Ravens +1 at Denver. We talked about that one. Chargers -3 against the Raiders. And my dog of the week is the Thursday night game. I really like the Jaguars in this spot against the Bengals. It is a revenge game for Trevor Lawrence against Joe Burrow. The Jaguars are not going to go 0-17. I don't think they're going to win too many games. They're not going to go 0-17.
Maybe.
I see you, Chuck.
Maybe. I don't know.
But put it this way. Trevor Lawrence is the best quarterback prospect the NFL has seen since Peyton Manning. He's been pretty much a household name since he was in high school. Like, this kid is a walking Ronnie Bass. Like, he is everything that you've ever wanted in a quarterback. He's mobile. He's got a great arm. He's big. He's smart. He's just got it all. It's just unfortunate that he's playing on a team like the Jaguars right now. But there's going to be a couple of games this year. And I think next year and, going forward in his career, we're going to see a lot of it. But there's going to be a couple of games this year. Things are just going to slow down a little bit, and he's just going to torch some defenses. And I don't think the Bengals are a particularly good team. I think they're better than what they were last year. But I think there's going to be a lot of emotions for Trevor Lawrence. Like I said, it's a bit of a revenge game. It's a really exciting matchup between the last two, number one overall picks. I know they're not the best of teams, but I'm excited to watch it. And, Jaguars are +7.5. I'm going to take the points. I think they could probably beat the Bengals outright as well.
I hope
just let the one.
I hope the NFL finds this video somehow and just clips the last 2 minutes of you talking about how much you love the opportunity to watch the Jags and Bengals play. No one has ever talked about those teams like this before, and they will have to use that like tomorrow night in their marketing campaign on NFL Network.
I think the over is going to hit too. I kind of like the over in this. It's bizarre. Like, I didn't think I'd be saying this, but I mean, it's Trevor Lawrence versus Joe Burrow. I mean, like, it's not Clemson versus LSU. I wish it was, but it's the next best thing as far as watching these two guys go at it again. I think it's kind of exciting. Joe Burrow's looked promising after his injury. Jaguars defense is good. I think they're going to put up points. And like I said, Trevor Lawrence there's going to be a couple games this year where things slow down. He's going to see the field and he's just going to torch some defenses. And I don't think the Bengals have a particularly good one.
Wow.
Okay. I like it. I think they might have a really good defense, to be honest.
Just one game next year, but when Trevor Lawrence played Thursday night against the Bengals.
Where were you?
Yeah,
I mean, the Bengals, like, if you look at their scores, like, the Vikings offense looks really good, and they couldn't do anything against the Bengals. They scored 21, but they had 0 in the first half. Wasn't it 0-0 at halftime?
That's fair. I mean, that's fair.
Last week, the Steelers to 10, and they lost how many points did the Bears score? The Bears had 20, but they had two pick sixes, didn't they?
I mean, you're talking about the Steelers and Bears. Those are two.
They're not great offense.
Yeah. I get what you're saying about the Vikings. And I'm not saying the Bengals defense is bad, but it's not like they have players. It's not like, one of the top defenses in the league. I may have misspoke a little bit, but I still don't think their defense is like shut down by any means. So.
Okay. I like it. Teddy, your card and your card and dog.
All right. I will start with the Lions +3. Love them against the Bears. Bears are a clusterfuck. No one knows how they're scheming. If you're going to say 3 quarterbacks are up to get the starting job, I mean, they're all different talents and they're going to be the same offense. So I don't think they should be worried. Lions do cover. They're 2-1. They cover against some good teams. So I think they might pull up their first win, because if not, it's going to get ugly until they play the Eagles. So I'll take the Lions +3. I love the Tennessee and Jets over 44. I just think it's one of those odd games that Jets might somehow put up a bunch of points and Tennessee finds themselves, like in a little bit of a trap game. But I think Tennessee will win, but I think it's just going to be just points all over the board. I love, we'll go back to that. Sorry, just looking at my lock and
Oh,
an underdog. I would love the Browns -2 against the Vikings. I know we talked about it earlier. I will take the 49ers -2.5 against the Seahawks, just with the home field advantage. Baltimore -1 right now. I think that's a solid play as well. And I love Tampa -6.5 in New England. I don't think I have any on the over-unders, so.
okay.
My underdog. My underdog
Yeah.
is the Indianapolis Colts against Miami.
Okay.
They got to win at some point.
I like that.
They're
One.
0-3 right now.
Mm.
I can't believe they're actually getting points. I don't know what it is. It's Miami at home. It just, I don't know. Both teams kind of seem like just lost, but Indianapolis got to get a win.
They do. They really badly need a win. Noah, everything you said about Washington football team -1.5, I'm with you. I think just fading Atlanta's a good idea. I should have made this my dog of the week, but it's not. Houston +16. It's a disrespectful amount of points, and I'll take that all day. The nice part about that bet too is about halfway through the first quarter, you know if it has any shot or not. Because if the Bills already have 2 touchdowns, you're like, well, hey, I gave it a shot. What are you gonna do?
Dude, that's where you got to take the first quarterback, get in and out. Don't let the rest of the
Oh,
game
that's
ruin it.
true. I'll have to on
gonna be like
Sunday.
probably
I'll
like
have to look
6.
that up.
It could be a touchdown if they're what 16 dogs.
Yeah, this is the
They might
biggest
get
one
like
yet
4,
this
they
year.
probably might get like 4.5, at least 3.5. So they just gotta, I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know if you remember our sophomore year of high school or not high school, college. The Bills were a 16-point dog in Josh Allen's like first start against Minnesota, and they won outright. Oh, it may have been our junior year of college. The Bills went up
not
to
remember.
Minnesota and won outright as 16-point underdogs.
Whew.
I
Yeah.
remember that.
And last year, the Jets won outright as 17-point underdogs at the LA Rams.
So they're due. It's
So,
a trend.
Yeah. So I like Houston to keep it inside 16. Tampa Bay -7 at New England, under 45 in Denver, Baltimore. Chargers -3.5. New Orleans first quarter. It's probably gonna be like -3. First game in the Superdome this year. First game in the Superdome after Hurricane Ida. That crowd's gonna be insane. I don't like laying 7.5, 8 points with Jameis Winston. So I think first quarter they come out, score a touchdown. Giants have trouble moving the ball. Hopefully, and then that bet hits. Jags +7.5. No, it's busting your balls a bit. I like the Jags as well. Keep it inside the number.
I think you were just busting my balls about how much I was like looking forward to watching
Yeah.
the game, which I get. It's the Jaguars versus Bengals, but I mean, like it's more than that. It's Joe Burrow versus Trevor Lawrence.
Do you
Yeah.
like it so much they should move it to big noon kickoff on Saturday?
Yeah, no, I think this was like excellent marketing by the NFL. Like this is like a great primetime game for a Thursday. If it were Sunday night or Monday night, I think it's not as good of a spot. But a Thursday night game, Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence. I don't know. It's just good marketing.
There's some intrigue.
I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to it.
Urban Meyer versus who's the
Zach Taylor.
Zach? There's no connection there. Okay, my dog, and then all that's left is my lock. My dog of the week is Arizona +4.5. I think they can win the game. I like taking in these sorts of games. I like taking the underdog with the points, even though I completely contradict that saying I'm taking the Chargers. So just throw that out. So yeah, like Arizona. Then my lock of the week is Baltimore +1 in Denver because I think they're winning this game.
Mhm.
So that kind of contradicts my dog because they're both underdogs, but I like Baltimore +1
Yeah.
in Denver. I'll take my chances that Denver's just an average team that has beat up 3 of the worst teams. Maybe the 3 worst teams in the NFL. And then Teddy, if you want to share your lock.
Yeah, I love Green Bay -6.5 against
Ooh.
Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's a disaster. Green Bay, big win. I think Rodgers keeps it rolling. Just easy, light work. Green Bay -6.5.
I like
Sorry,
it.
Steelers fans.
I wish it was December because a very cold and mobile Big Ben would be hilarious. Unfortunately, it is
Yeah,
still October.
That sucks.
Noah,
Unfortunately.
I missed one on my card. Browns Vikings over 51.5.
Okay.
Like I said, I love Cardinals and Vikings overs this year, all season. So I'm just gonna keep riding it. My lock, I really do like the Ravens, and the logical side of me would have taken that, but I have a very emotionally driven lock of the week, and that is Cowboys -4.5 versus the Panthers.
I thought you were about to be. I thought you were about to say Kansas City -7 at Philadelphia, because that
No.
might also be a
No,
lock.
that also
Oh.
might be a lock, but I like I said, the Panthers to me are a huge fraud team right now. The Cowboys have looked very, very good this year, like dangerously good. I think they still could do the classic Cowboys thing where they just kind of step on their own feet later in the season. Obviously, yeah, Mike McCarthy had a very stupid clock management decision in that game against the Eagles, but I, as a Penn Stater, I just have to root against Sam Darnold my whole life. I will.
That's
I
fair.
always will. So I'm going to be taking Cowboys -4.5. That's my lock of the week.
What did he do
Alright.
to you? I'm just
He
kidding.
beat me in the
I'm just
Rose
kidding.
Bowl. Everyone shut up
I mean,
about
that
how
was
the
one
Giants should have picked him over
electric
Saquon
Rose
Bowl.
Barkley. So,
That
Oh
was an
yeah,
electric Rose Bowl.
that was
it was an
electric
electric Rose Bowl, but yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, ever since that draft pick was made, me and Ben and Noah have been arguing about Sam Darnold should have went second, and he's on. Obviously, Noah's on Saquon was the right pick at 2. So, so this is huge this
It's,
week. This
like I
is
said,
a,
it's
this is
it
a
is
just an
proven
huge.
emotionally
week.
driven lock.
Fair, that's fair. Anything? I just had something in my mind, but I forget. So we're gonna move on to. Oh, you got anything?
Yeah, I'm just gonna say if Baltimore Denver scoregami hits, I just win this whole thing.
I
We can
agree.
stop the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
You can be 1-0 on score. I'll give you like a second win in locks, because that would be electric.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Thank you.
yeah,
Now
it's
I
like
see
a
what
free
I'm
roll.
excited for. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
hey, that would be sick if it hits. First one of the year. Anything else to add?
The Jalen Hurts over didn't hit this past week. I was very sad about that.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for your loss.
I mean, it hit the
Um,
first 2 weeks by a lot. But I don't know. I might continue to roll with it, depending on what the line is this weekend, because it might come down a little bit, because I think we only had 38 yards. But I don't know. We'll see.
I would also like to add I lost by like 0.54 fantasy points because of
Oh.
Dak Prescott.
Oh,
Yeah, I was up like 25 points and Dak just cleared it, and I lost by 0.5 to get. Now I'm 0-3, so I'm in a dark place.
Oh,
in
Jesus.
fantasy. Yeah, not looking good.
Oh, I would have also gone 4-3 last week if the Chargers kicker Vincenzo, whatever the hell his name is, hit that
Oh, yeah.
goddamn extra point. Instead it ended at 54, and I think I got it in at 54.5.
that's true.
I had teased the spread and the over under, so I had hit my bet, in my book, but as far as the show goes, did not get that point.
To be honest with like the show, I thought I went like over 8. I did not hit a bet, I don't think, until Sunday. It was a dark place. So I didn't even check. I was just like, didn't even know what happened throughout. I didn't check any of my picks, and I just laid like a big 50 burger on the Packers, and then I fell asleep and woke up on that last drive. I was like, oh,
Oh, that's
yeah, so,
awesome.
Yeah, the Raiders was brutal too. I ended up making money off that game, but I had them at -3.5. And they only won by 3. So, but after the pick 6 to start the game, I had doubled down on them money line, and then after the Dolphins went up 14-0, I tripled down on it money line. So I ended up making up plenty of money. By the end of the game, even though I had put 3 units on them spread, on like Friday.
Yeah, the best moment from the games we were watching with Noah, and the total was at 45 in the Chargers Chiefs game, because he had just brought this up about how he had the teased over. There was like 5 or 6 minutes left in the game, and they're at 45, and the Chargers have the ball on like the Kansas City 10, or Kansas City had it the Chargers 10. I forget what it was. And he just goes, yeah, they best case scenario here, we get a field goal. It's like, you can just like, there's 6 minutes. I think that was the line. It was something like that. Like the best case scenario is, oh yeah, best case scenario is we get this field goal, then it goes into OT. It's like there's 6 minutes left in the game, just score a touchdown and you hit the over.
There was not 6 minutes left in the game, but I definitely had a couple too many to drink. And I just was not thinking straight. The touchdown would have just hit the over, but I was rooting for a field goal. I just wanted to see more football. Come on.
That's fair. Yeah. So, all right, that's the show. I might do, because I'm going to do this in the college show. I'm going to do a locks parlay. I think I'm going to do it here too, because I like your guys' locks. I have to see Jeff, and if Jeff's is good too.
I think it's the Lions +3.
His is Lions, yours is Packers, yours is yours is
I got the boys.
the Cowboys.
Oh.
See, I don't really like that.
Yeah,
We'll see.
I mean, maybe Tuesday, but I think the
Way to
Cowboys
ruin
are
it.
4.5. But I'm taking it anyway.
No, I got to root for Matt Rule. Temple tough.
Fair.
We'll cut out Noah as far as
Yeah, I'll do
whatever
it.
he just said.
Count me
I
in-
actually
count me in
do-
next- count me in.
You had mentioned this. I do love the Lions too.
Dude,
They
they
make
got
a lot of sense.
Like if they don't win, it's gonna be a dark place until they get to the Eagles.
Yeah, they're 100% going to be in my teaser this week, without
Dude, they
question.
covered.
+10, like that's against like the Bears stink. That's too easy.
Yeah, I mean they
Um,
almost covered against the Packers, but it kind of got a little iffy at the end.
Yeah, the Packers just became the Packers, and they're frisky though. Like the lines are at least fun.
Dude, they got a nice offense like pieces. Like their O line's good, DeAndre Swift's good, Hawk is good. Obviously, Goff stinks. They have to get their quarterback, but
Mhm.
I think they got a lot of good
Competed in
offensive
every
pieces.
game. I mean, they've
Yeah.
been in it. Even the Niners game, they almost came back. They had a chance to tie it up late in the game.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
I'm just
root for
I
Dan
picked up
Campbell.
the Chicago defense. I'm just hoping it's an ugly like 17-6 type of win if they do end up.
That's
winning.
very possible.
Yeah.
Very possible
Very
that's the case.
yeah. I don't even know the
Um,
total on that, but I kind of like the total under now.
So do I. Yeah, no, just talking me into it too. So I'll have to monitor that. All right, that's been the show. The NFL show on Chuck Chat YouTube. We will all be above 500 this week. See ya for week 5. First show of October.
There we go.